Hey everyone, it's Alyssa Becker, and today I am going to give you a brief overview of some things to consider when learning a new piece of music. Perhaps you've been listening to a song on the radio that you've decided you want to learn, or maybe your voice teacher has given you a new song to learn for an upcoming recital. Whatever the situation, you want to learn that music to the best of your ability. And it can be really overwhelming looking at a new piece of music with all of the musical, technical, and performance aspects one must consider. I've broken down what to consider in a piece into 7 steps, which includes the background of a piece, the form of the song, the vocal rhythm, the vocal melody, the text, the accompaniment, and the musical details. By breaking down these 7 things, you can learn the piece effectively and with confidence. Let's begin with the background. The background is the who, what, when, where, and why of a piece. It's important to have a bit of context of the song you are learning. Look into who wrote the piece and who wrote the text. See if the piece is from a larger work like an opera or musical theater production. Consider the piece and when it was written, where it was written and premiered, and why it was written. All of these things to consider in relation to the origin of the piece can be so interrelated. And once you get started in learning about the song, you might just keep continuing to learn about the composer and their works. You might even find along your search that a song by the same composer is something you might want to learn. It's great to have a bit of knowledge before jumping in. Keep in mind that learning about the piece is an ongoing process, so keep learning. Our next step to consider is the form of the piece. Think of form as your roadmap of the piece. The reason I encourage you to figure out the form is because then you can see how the music is laid out. Sometimes the sections of the music return later in the piece. For instance, if you have ever heard the hymn Amazing Grace, you will notice that the rhythm and the melody stay the same, and the words change. That's good to know if you are learning a song, because once you've learned that first verse, you know all of it, and just have to get comfortable with the changing text. The form of the piece Amazing Grace is called strophic. However, you should know there are many other types of musical forms. Other times, a song may not have any music that returns. By knowing the form of a song, you can break down your learning of the piece section by section. Rhythm is the arrangement of musical sounds based on their duration and time. More basic and unacademically, rhythm is how you know where to place every word you sing within a song. Before you get started, note the time signature and the tempo of the piece. Remember, as you begin to learn the rhythm, don't be in a rush to get it at the tempo. Slow and steady always wins the race. Begin with clapping the rhythm section by section until you can do the whole song at tempo without issues. Then move to speaking the text on rhythm without melody. This is especially important if the song is super fast. Once you can do this, then we'll move on to melody. The melody of the piece is the sequence of pitches that you sing throughout the song. Once you know the rhythm, you can learn the melody that goes along with it. Just as we learned rhythms step by step, it's important to do the same with the melody. This starts by knowing what key you are in. Learn the pitches on a neutral syllable, like DDD, on lip trills, or on solfege if you feel comfortable. Really get used to the melody, and again, practice it slowly. I would highly recommend you learn this by playing the melody on a piano, or if you don't play piano, with a pre-recorded track. Do not listen and learn by singing along with someone else. Be sure to circle in your music and isolate sections of notes that are particularly difficult. Once you are comfortable with the notes, put the words on. Here is where we put rhythm and melody together. Again, go slow. Text is the next thing to dive into. Text is what sets us as singers apart from instrumentalists. We get to convey ideas and emotions through words. It's so important that you practice the text as if you are presenting a poem or a monologue. Know exactly how you want to say the text, so when you put it to the music, we hear the same stress and meaning. Additionally, write in the vowels of the words you are singing, even if you are singing in your native language. It's super awkward if you are sustaining a super long note and you are singing the wrong vowel. Then the word just sounds wrong. Lastly, as you review the text, notice periods, commas, and question marks, and figure out where to breathe. Of course, you will also have to consider how the text is set rhythmically and melodically, but you can't breathe in the middle of a word, so use the text as your guide. When in doubt, speak the text again, noticing full sentences and thoughts, and let that serve as your guide in finding the most natural places to breathe. The accompaniment, whether it is just a piano, a rhythm section, or any combination of instruments, it serves to enhance what the singer is doing. And as a singer, it's important to know what they are doing musically to support your vocal line. There are a couple ways that the accompaniment can be involved. First, your vocal line might be doubled throughout the song or parts of the song. Secondly, your part might not be doubled, but the accompaniment is outlining the harmony of what you're singing to reinforce that vocal line. And lastly, there might not be a relation between the accompaniment and the vocal line. As you go through the piece, it's important to note where the accompaniment helps you and where you might really need to focus in on what you're singing because the accompaniment is doing something different than what you are. While this is different for every song, it can also change within a single song. Knowing what is happening in the accompaniment is just as important as knowing your vocal line. Make your pianists or any other instrumentalists' life easier by knowing your part and being ready to put it with the accompaniment with confidence. Lastly, we have musical details that we often see throughout a piece. It's a way for the composer to communicate their intent for how the music should be performed. A few examples include dynamics, tempo markings, phrasing, expression, and technique. It's important to go through your music and make note of these things by circling or highlighting them. As you get more comfortable with the notes and the rhythms, you can then gradually begin to incorporate all of these details as you practice. For instance, you could practice the dynamics within a piece as you speak the text on rhythm, gradually getting louder and softer as marked. Or, once you're comfortable with the rhythm and melody, begin to do the piece at the marked tempo. There are so many ways to practice, but be sure you are aware of the composer's intent as you are learning a song, and not later in the process. There you have it, a brief overview of 7 key elements to consider as you are learning a piece. Break it down for yourself and be patient. By taking your time to really dive into a piece, you are actually learning it so much more quickly and effectively than rushing to learn it all at once. I encourage you to go get a new piece of music and dive in. Enjoy the process, and I will see you next time. Hey everyone, thanks for watching today's video. Don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon so you can be notified of future content. Keep on practicing. This is just one step in your vocal journey to become a better singer.